OLA Super Conference, Universe of Possibilities. I'm so excited.
Excellent.
There's a great buzz going on. Can you just shortly introduce for the people who may not know you?
Sure.
Can you just say something who you are and
Sure.
how you got to be at this conference?
Well, my name's Kevin Sylvester, and I'm an author and an illustrator and a broadcaster, and I've been at this conference lots of times. I've been honored and lucky enough to have a number of my books nominated for the Forest of Reading Awards, won a few times, which is also pretty awesome. And to be perfectly honest, librarians are the greatest proponents of literature for kids. So these are my people. I love them.
Yeah,
I love
them.
every person here. Every single person here I love, man.
I'm getting emotional.
I'm sorry, I need a tissue. But it's true. It's true.
It's true.
These,
No, it's true.
It's true. They're awesome. They're awesome, and
But
the people here are great.
Not every writer has that. Not every writer thinks that.
I know, but you know what? For me, especially because I write for kids, I find that, especially in this world where books are thrown out there and the kids have trouble finding them sometimes, what librarians offer is a way to curate, a way to read those books.
If they're good librarians, they do that.
Exactly, and what librarians do better than anybody else, except maybe for a few really good booksellers,
Yes.
is that they match the books to the kids. So like a kid, so Harry Potter can be read by millions of kids. But what about the kid who didn't like Harry Potter? What do they read? Well, if they're not connected to the system that tells them other good books, they don't find them. But librarians find them. They find those kids, and they can turn kids. There's a very famous saying that if you don't like reading, it means you're not getting the right book. Librarians are in charge of getting them the right book, and that's what they do.
But, well, because I'm very, at the moment, there's a lot going on and around the world. I think bookstores are closing.
Yes.
The bigger bookstores are closing. There's a discussion in the Netherlands at this moment about one that's going bankrupt, a big one. This is an opportunity for libraries. Do you think there's
Yes. Well, and also part of it too is that libraries are not just about books anymore, right? I mean, really what they are is gateways for information. So you look at all the different ways that libraries have grown with computers, with access to the information, with becoming community hubs, taking the place of some of those public spaces that have been cut by governments, cut by private business, all those sorts of things. So they're crucial on all those different levels. There's actually an interesting thing. You ask about my involvement with librarians. I emceed a big conference that was on in Stratford. The Stratford Public Library put it on a couple years ago about the future of libraries. And there was a guy there from Google, and I always remember because it was fascinating. Because Google's sometimes seen as the enemy, that they're going to replace books, they're going to replace this. The guy from Google was actually fascinating because he said, no. We put out information indiscriminately. Yeah, we have algorithms, we sort of throw stuff out there. What he wanted some way to sort of get like a librarian stamp of approval. So if you do like a Google search for something, you get information that comes up often, it comes up first because of mercantile interest. What he was saying was that wouldn't it be better if there was like a check mark that said a librarian has read this document, knows this document? I know, it was a great idea.
Going on, but libraries are not meeting that. It's not that. They're just not doing it.
Well, because you have to figure about the way those libraries are structured, who supports them, who takes them seriously. In this city, we've got a mayor who doesn't even think libraries are useful, right? Like, so you have to get all of those people to recognize that the library is no longer, the Library of Alexandria with a bunch of parchment on the walls, and that it's become something much bigger and, to my mind, much more integral in the makeup of a society at a local level.
And what do you write? When you write for people, for kids?
Sure.
What do you want to bring to these kids? Do you want to teach them something? Do you want to be a storyteller? Just bring them stories?
If I ever say I want to teach kids something, then I should be hit over the head with a bat.
Okay,
fair enough. I will never say that, Erik. Because for me, what I try to do is first of all, you have to be entertaining, especially for kids. They're brutal. If they don't like your book, they'll throw it out. They'll burn it after 3 pages.
They're not dead.
Exactly. You're dead in the water. So I first of all, I try to entertain them. But in my book, I write a series of mystery novels about a kid who's a chef who solves crimes. But hidden in that is valuable information on world history. It deals with the age of exploration. It deals with Spanish invasion of Mexico back in the 1500s. It deals with real examples in history, and I try to make them as factual as possible. So, and maybe what I'm trying to do is trick the kids into learning something, but I always try to make sure that it's entertaining first.
And storytelling, it's the word now at the moment. Everybody is talking about storytelling and the use of storytelling. Do you want the kids to learn to tell on the story, to make them better
Look,
stories?
to me, with storytelling, we always come up with different words for these things.
Yes.
All storytelling is are you interesting or not? If you can, like for example, I had Shakespeare is the greatest writer in the English language possibly of all time, right? Okay, so. But I've had teachers who have made Shakespeare the most boring experience ever, and I've had teachers who have made Shakespeare the most lively experience ever. So a storyteller is somebody who is able to say, here's what's interesting about this, here's why you should be interested, and here's why you can't just go, oh my God, it's some dead guy from 1604 telling me about kings. So all storytelling is saying to kids, in my world, saying to kids, but I think it's true for adults as well, that what you're trying to do is say, this is why this is interesting.
And what are the MOOCs? Well, the MOOCs that now are coming up, I mean, we have, like you mentioned, teachers. There's some teachers out there who are absolutely brilliant, who really do a great job, and we can all watch their classes online when we do and we can watch them together.
Yeah.
What do you think of that opportunity for libraries? Can the library make like rooms, special rooms, where you can have you telling your stories and you can watch it in like maybe 1,000 libraries all over the world at the same time?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. And in fact, one of the things that I love technology. I'm not one of these authors who's afraid of technology. I think you need to embrace it, and the kids will eventually have all of the tools that we have. It's the milieu they grow, it's the air they breathe. So you can't ignore it. But I think, looking at more Skype talks are happening, where an author can be 8,000 miles away but talk to a group of kids anywhere. Hangouts, whatever the software is, you're able to get and talk to those kids. And I think that it's again another, you talk about library, it's another place where they have the technology and they have the space to be able to offer that, and I think it's a great idea. And I mean I also want to include in that school libraries too, not just libraries that exist in the public world, but school libraries are integral for that as well, because of course they have those spaces still. Some of them are under threat, but they have those spaces still, and authors, it's a great opportunity, I think, technology, to get the word out more and more and more, and find those TED Talks. Look at the explosion of TED Talks.
It's a whole new archive of good content.
Exactly, good content well delivered. Like you talk about the importance of storytelling, but the genius of TED Talks isn't always the content, but it's always that content is told in an entertaining way that gets people to stick.
I'm bringing TED Talk because we're getting to the end of this. This super conference. It is a super conference.
It's
You've
super.
Been here many times.
I have been here many times. Yes.
Can you give us one good memory of one of the conferences that you went to?
Oh well, I the best memory I think was I won the Silver Birch a few years ago for one of my novels, and it's voted on by kids. And the events that they put on, like if you've ever get a chance to go to the actual Forest of Reading events, it's the greatest. I would love to. It's the greatest thing ever. And to give you an example of why it's so awesome, and it does link back to this conference, it is the one award where there's no prize money. There's not really a sort of a certificate that you put on your book. You can put a sticker on your book, but it is the one award that I know every Canadian author would give up a leg to win and be nominated for, because it is just it's decided by the kids. It's organized by these people here, but it's decided by the kids. The kids vote on it. The kids choose you, and they hold your book like it's like a teddy bear, like it's a treasure. It's absolutely phenomenal. And so at this conference, they put on a sort of a symposium for the winners, and I've been at that and sat next to Kenneth Opel, who's one of my heroes, and I just sit there and I go, I do not belong on this, it's like sitting on a hockey bench next to Wayne Gretzky here and all these, Sidney Crosby here, and going, what am I doing with these people? And that feeling of realizing that it's a community where everybody sort of knows each other and supports each other, and you have a lot of fun. That first breakfast here, where I was sitting with all those people and all the librarians, that would be
the best memory.
Pretty much a pretty high memory for everything, yeah.
Well, last question, if your passion is obvious. I mean, and I'm going to read your books. I'm
excellent.
I'm already interested. But if for next years they want to do an even better job at this conference, do you have any sort of message that you want to give to your organization? How can they improve it even?
You know what? I have had a ball at this conference every year I've been here. The one thing I've always had a problem with, because I've come sort of and tooled around it with, is I always have a hard time figuring out where everything is. There are incredibly helpful guides, but it's just because it's a super conference, you sort of have to map it out in your head ahead of time. I'm an author. I'm horrible at that. Mapping things out.
You should just tattoo it on your wrist.
That's exactly right. I need to have a cheat sheet or something like that that takes me through. That would work.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
for
hey,
being
cheers,
here.
Erik.
And
Thank you very much.
It's exciting to meet you.
It's exciting to meet you too, man. And enjoy the books.
I will.